Okay, now we're joined by Inter Miami head coach Phil Neville. If you have a question, please raise your hand, but we will actually begin with opening remarks.
Well, we're really pleased. I think the objective at the start of the week was to get through in the US Open Cup, and then with 2 away games, we needed a win in at least one of them. Felt we needed to win at least one of them. I felt we deserved to win all 3 games this week, and we move on to the next game against Atlanta. We had a team today that was committed, and my feeling today was no different than what I had against before the Houston game. I have no doubt that the tide has turned for us in terms of we now have a group that are fighting and showing the spirit that that they showed last season, and it's a great quality. It's a great quality to have in a team. There's a lot of negativity after Wednesday night's game, but it was the biggest sign yet that this team never gives up, scoring in the 89th minute and the 118th minute, knowing that they were never going to lose that game. So I had no doubt today again that we were going to win this game. And I don't want that to sound arrogant. I just had real confidence and belief in what we were doing, and the players of how they were behaving, talking, and being together. And we've had some real challenges this week. We've had a bus breakdown. We got diverted to Cincinnati yesterday for a couple of hours. The journey took 5-6 hours, but that made us even stronger. And the players deserve all the credit. They controlled the game, even without the ball. And I think this league is really simple. Is that if you defend and play with really good spirit, and you have a goal scorer, a DP that scores goals, then you're going to be successful. And we've got 2 strikers now that scored on Wednesday and 2 goals tonight from Leo. That's 3 in 2 games now from our strikers. And it's no coincidence then we start winning. So we're pleased. We're keeping our feet on the ground. There's a long way to go. May is going to be a real tough month for us in terms of the games program, but one we have prepared for and one that we're ready for.
We'll begin with questions. Michelle Kaufman first, then Ian Hest.
Hey, Phil, congratulations. Can you talk about the decision to start Benha? And I know for a long time you've been a big fan of his. Why did you make that decision? What did you see in him? And what did you think about how he played tonight? I mean, that flicking header off, for that assist was pretty good instinct for someone his age.
Yeah, well, I think we're a club that want to produce young players. I really feel we've got a crop of young players now on the MLS roster that are going to be really, really outstanding for us. We've seen performances this season already from the young players. I actually met them on Thursday. It's the only meeting I had on Thursday. I met all the MLS young players and told them that last season they were probably just bit part players, and the best they could hope for was the bench. And what I told them, now they need to be ready because they're going to be really, really important. They're going to play major minutes because they're on the bus with us, heading in that direction. They've got the quality, they've got the hunger, they've got the desire, and that group of kids are going to play games and they're going to play major minutes. And Ben-Hart tonight went in and played to the level that I knew he could. I watched him play for the MLS2 last Sunday. I made my mind up that he was going to then play in the next 2 games because I felt as if he'd come through a real tough pre-season. He'd had a real baptism and he'd been thrown into it, really playing a lot of games. And I just felt as if the little bit of break we did put him on the bench against Dallas was just the right thing to do. And then he played 2 or 3 MLS2 games, which got him Orlando, Charlotte, and then the game last week against Huntsville, which it's got him back to playing football with his own age group, showing his quality, and then the kid's going to be a star without a shadow of a doubt. And David Ruiz coming on today, Schneider coming on. These are big moments for this football club, and it bodes well for the future.
Ian?
Thanks, Rafa. Phil, congrats on the result. We've talked a lot this year about possession numbers, and now probably the most egregious of them, but all 3 wins have come with less than 50% possession. Are you depending on that less? Do you find that you're getting better chances even without the ball? And does that make you rethink the idea of holding on to possession more, especially out of the back?
Well, I think today was always going to be a tough game to out-possess the opposition. They're a really, really top side. They press. The pitch is really tight. They go man for man, they take risks. And I think it was always a game where we knew we would have to suffer. We played 120 minutes through the night and we flew to what Houston, 7 days ago. We knew today was going to be one of those games where we probably had to just dig in, fight, play a tactical game, really. And I thought the boys executed it incredibly. I didn't think for 1 minute that they were going to penetrate us. I felt shots from outside the box, like the goal that they scored, were probably the biggest danger that they were going to have. But we had some big performances. And, if you think back to last season when we started to gain momentum, it came from performances like this, where we went back to probably basics. We started to do the jobs, the dirty jobs better than what we have been doing. And we formed an identity. And I think over the last 3 games, I think what we're forming an identity that suits the way that is successful in this league. And, it's early days. We've got to remain humble. We play Atlanta at home, New England at home, Charlotte at home, Orlando at home, DC at home. So the next month, I think, is going to be critical in terms of where we want to be at the end of the season. But I do believe so much in these players. We recruited a certain type. And I think what you've seen this week is the type of players that we want on that football pitch.
We're going to go to Casey from MLS.
Hey, Coach. A few things you mentioned, getting goals from DP strikers and also just forming your identity. I guess not to oversimplify things, but how heartening is it to get 2 goals from Campagna when goals have been hard to come by this season? And also, how do you see his trajectory going as a young player as well within your club right now?
What, Campana?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, probably wasn't fit enough to play against Dallas, but we felt as if we needed the result. The next game he played, he was still a little bit short, but he started to look a little bit fresher. Today, I thought he was sensational. I really did. He held up the play. His first goal was really good. His second goal was typical Leo, getting across the near post. His heading ability is great. He brought players into the game, and he's only going to get better. I think if we have Leo Campagna fit for the whole season, then we're going to be successful. That I've no doubt. And then you've got Schneider, you've got Joseph, that pushing for a start as well. So I said all along that once our strikers start scoring, we'll win games. And I put Joseph in that. Joseph will start scoring. That there'll be a lot written that he didn't get on the pitch today, but he will get on the pitch. He will score goals. He's part of what we're building here. He's been instrumental in what we've done this week in terms of his spirit and his help to the younger players. He's frustrated, but once our goal scorers start scoring, once we start creating chances for them, we will win games of football.
We're going to go back to Michelle.
Phil, the plan at the start of the season was, the 2 forwards. You talked a lot about the 2 forwards. And now do you have a different philosophy now because this seems to be working? And how do you see Joseph and Rodolfo, basically, I think probably the 2 highest paid players? How do you see them fitting in with these young guys doing what they're doing?
Well, we will have to play with 2 strikers. You look at the bench today. In terms of sort of like the investment, the biggest investment in our bench was the 2 strikers. We had Rodolfo and Joseph not on the pitch tonight, so we will. But I think there's some building blocks to go in before we start. Probably going back to that. 1, those players need to perform, and 2, we need to just gain some more momentum and performance levels. And today we tweaked the system a little bit. And it's the long season. I looked at our program for, this week is the last week we've got without games in terms of sort of like we can rest players, and then we go into it's incredible. And I think we're at our best when we're playing games. We think less, the players think less, and we just get into this rhythm. And we need to keep everybody fit now. And like I say, we've got some players playing tomorrow for the MLS 2, Noah Allen, Ryan Saylor, who need the minutes. Jake LaCava needs the minutes because we will need them. We will need those players. And I think we're now. It's a big win for us in terms of in terms of confidence from probably outside, confidence from outside in us, it was not acceptable the run we've been going on, and it's not just going to change because we've won 1 game or 2 games, but we just need to keep going. We believe in what we're doing.
Daniel.
Hey, coach, congrats on the first away win. The team wasn't able to net many goals on our first away games. The last 2 games, you're able to net 4. What do you think has been the change? You talked a lot the last couple of press conferences about luck being on the team side. Do you think that's basically what changed today? The team basically was able to get lucky and was able to get those those
got lucky. I think that's disrespectful to say we got lucky. Did you think we were lucky? You just said we were lucky. No, I thought, if you think about Leo's second goal, I was still fuming from Coco and Benha missing the chances before that. I talked about that ruthlessness. So we didn't have many chances, and what we did tonight is we put those chances in the back of the net. Maybe 3 out of chances, we put 2 in the back of the net, which we haven't been doing. We have been creating chances. The forwards have been getting chances, and players have been getting chances in games, and now I think with the forwards, they're going to get confident. They're going to get confident. They're going to have more belief. And like I say, we've got forwards that will score 15 to 20 goals. I'm convinced of that. And the more we build, the more confident we get, the more we can give opportunities to these guys. But at this moment in time, we're still in that phase of just building some momentum. And ruthlessness is part of what I don't think we've had all season. You think about even the first 2 games of the season, we weren't ruthless. We scored some brilliant goals from outside the box, but we weren't ruthless in our play. And then the defeats that we went on, you think about NYC, I didn't think we deserved it. Chicago didn't think we deserved it, but we weren't ruthless. So we lost the games. We didn't deserve to lose in Cincinnati, but we weren't ruthless. I didn't feel as if we deserved to lose in Houston. We created all the chances, but we lost. So I think the change in the last 2 games is that we've actually sticking the ball in the back of the net, and that's what these guys are paid to do.
Last question, Ian.
Yeah, just wanted to touch off what Michelle asked in terms of going to Chris at halftime for Coco. That's a look that we haven't seen this year with the 3 center backs almost kind of playing off of each other. Is that something you've been working on? Is that something that you expect to feel more comfortable with in a game like this? It was a little more tough to grind out a result.
Well, we wanted, we had to spread the field with 5 at the back because they put 4-5 on the highest line. I felt as if we needed an extra defender. And what I felt was, even though Coco was unlucky to come off, I felt as if your board needed a defender up against him rather than an attacking player. And Coco didn't get much joy apart from the chances he had going forward. So I felt as if with DeAndre's experience and Chris McVeigh coming back in, it would just add a little bit more experience in terms of defensive know-how. There was lots of rotations. And I think for me, the biggest pleasing point from Ben Howe's performance was his discipline in terms of his defensive work. It was incredible. So it was good. We had to make that change at halftime. And we need to be flexible. Thanks, guys.